I want to quickly talk to you about virtual mailbox versus USPS informed delivery. So before you actually switch from either or, you got to have a clear idea about not only how much you're saving, but also what you are gaining in terms of customer service, in terms of efficiency, in terms of accessibility. Okay, so what's the main difference between a virtual mailbox and informed delivery? So first, the key difference is that informed delivery from USPS is actually a useful postal mail alert provided for free by the US Postal Service. So it is free, okay? While a virtual mailbox allows you to manage your postal mail from anywhere, anytime. But basically, a virtual mailbox also includes a real street address, which is kind of useful for business privacy and security reasons. But they're charging you, okay? They're charging you. I'll speak about the differences in terms of pricing later on, but they charge you. So if you think about USPS informed delivery, you are talking about I would say what I call a public service, right? So this is a service. This is a free service from a U.S. government agency because the U.S. Postal Service, USPS, is a U.S. government agency. Okay, so the USPS informed delivery is basically a service that notifies you when mail and packages arrive. It also sends you photos of the address side of mail pieces. So that's kind of cool because it gives you flexibility. So knowing when your mail and packages are arriving can be really helpful when you have a busy day and are actually unsure if someone can sign for it at home or let's say at the office. Okay. So one thing you need to really understand is that there is also a certain limitation when it comes to USPS informed delivery because its main drawback is that its only real purpose is to tell you that postal mail is coming your way and what it looks like from the outside. That's it, nothing else. You know, you don't have no clarity beyond that. So in terms of the way informed delivery works is that this USPS service sends you a photo of your mail before it arrives. You'll be able to see images of the outside of your incoming mail, whether on your computer or mobile device. And the images are in grayscale and show the address side. So when you sign up for informed delivery, you will receive notifications when your paper mail or packages will be delivered. On your mobile device or computer, you can track your incoming mail and see what items are about to arrive. Okay. You can also leave instructions for the delivery personnel, such as telling them in which area of your house they can drop off your mail and packages. So this is really good. Now, how do you get informed delivery? I mean, like I said, this is a free service, so the service is accessible to everybody in this country. There is no need to actually pay for anything, but you need to sign up. Okay, you need to sign up. And signing up for this USPS service is very easy, because you can activate the informed delivery service from your USPS.com account, right? So you need to have a USPS.com account, otherwise you can actually you cannot access the service. Okay, so let me give you the three steps you need to follow. Okay, but again, before you actually do anything, remember that the service is free. So if anybody's playing games with you, telling you have to pay for stuff, you have to pay for the USPS informed delivery service, that's not true. Okay. So you want to go to USPS.com and you want to opt in to informed delivery. If you don't have a USPS.com account yet, you can sign up on the informed delivery page. Okay. And so what you want to do here is that you want to tap in your address to check if it's eligible for informed delivery. Some areas may not have this service because USPS just wants to make sure that they're able to deliver. So if logistically or let's say monetarily the service is not interesting for them to offer in a certain area, for instance, in the rural area, they're not gonna offer it. So you need to provide your account information and also verify your identity. Okay, and so that's it. So once your application is processed, you will start actually you will start receiving notifications when paper mail or a package is about to be delivered to your address. Okay, so it's all about convenience, really. It's all about affordability. It's all about convenience. It's all about also anticipation, but also efficiency. That's kind of cool because that really helps you plan your days. Okay, in relation to mail you might be expecting. So that's kind of cool. So that's for USPS informed delivery. Let me talk to you quickly about virtual mailboxes. One thing you need to really understand is that a virtual mailbox also provides notifications when you receive paper mail or parcels. However, a virtual mailbox goes beyond that. Okay. For instance, this is a service that also has more advanced and essential features that help you manage mail better. So this is kind of cool. So for instance, you might receive an alert when your mail or packages have been delivered, not when they are in transit. Okay. So just be aware of specific of that specifics. Okay. So the cool thing about sorry, the cool thing about this is that you can actually once you get a notification from a virtual mailbox, you can then make additional requests after you receive the notifications. For example, via a phone app or an online dashboard, you can request that your mail be opened and scanned. You can also request for mail forwarding. You can have shredding or recycling, and some virtual mailbox providers also offer check deposits. So this is really good because it adds to the extra layer of security that I was telling you a little earlier. Okay. Now, a virtual mailbox also serves as a digital and physical mail storage unit. So this is kind of cool. So in terms of operations, like in a day-to-day operations, how do virtual mailboxes work? So when you sign up for a virtual mailbox account, you can access your postal mail and packages remotely. Okay. And the virtual mailbox provider will also take a photo of the address side of your mail and send the image to your account. And you can access these photos on your account via a phone app or a web browser because every virtual mailbox provider has a different setup. So sorry about that. This is so it's important to understand that this is something to really take into account. So if you want to know, for instance, the contents of your mail, you can also have the mail scanned. Okay, this is especially important if you receive, let's say, business mail, and you need to act on correspondence in a timely manner. Okay, if you don't have a registered agent, for instance, and you need to really do things yourself, you got to really see what's exactly in the mail right away. And all mail items are instantly digitized, encrypted, and backed up in the cloud, keeping your postal mail secure and accessible. And you can easily assign dates, names, and categories so that you can maneuver your digital post mail documents as easily as your email. So, how do you actually get a virtual mailbox? So, when it comes to getting a virtual mailbox, I've actually covered this on this show, this topic on this show before. You have literally tens of virtual mailbox provider. Okay, so what you want to do here is that you want to really choose the one that you're interested in. Okay, because signing up for a virtual mailbox account is a very simple process. Once you choose that your provider, just follow through the steps that they have, and you should be set up like within maximum 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, that's kind of cool. So, but one thing for sure, when you think about selecting a virtual mailbox, you also got to think about the location. Okay, because the virtual mailbox is actually giving you an address for your business, right? An alternative address. So you have to choose a location. So you also want to make sure that once you choose a location, you can also you have to submit the necessary documents, the necessary requirements, like a notarized USPS Form 1583, for instance. Okay, because they want to have that from you to make sure that they have the legal authorization to actually receive data to receive correspondence at that address that you have specified. So once your application is processed, you will get a notification within a few days that your virtual mailbox is ready and that you can start receiving mail in your digital mailbox immediately. Okay. If you want to know how to get a virtual mailbox and you are considering a virtual mailbox provider specifically, let me know in the comment section and I'll certainly let you know whether the one that you want is actually a good provider and how to actually accelerate the process with them and get set up real fast. Okay. And in terms of virtual mailbox, you shouldn't really think about like breaking the bank because those costs are pretty affordable. You're looking at anywhere from $10 a month to $30 a month, depending on your needs, depending on the kind of stuff that you want them to do for you. Like if you want them to do scanning, digitize it, and more, and forwarding, that will cost you extra. So let's now talk about virtual mailbox and USPS informed delivery. Okay. One thing I want to say here is I want you to look here. And so this is a recap, a small table recapping the pros and cons, the contrast and comparison between the two services. One thing I want to say here is that, of course, a virtual mailbox is charging you $9.99 on average or as a starting price. Okay. Whereas informed delivery is free. Again, informed delivery doesn't give you all the various services, extra services that you get if you were to sign up with informed delivery. I mean, with a virtual mailbox, right? So you got to really ask yourself what you're looking for in a virtual mailbox, because because USPS informed delivery is just giving you the basics in terms of delivery notifications. Okay. Whereas a virtual mailbox goes way beyond. Okay, so one thing you need to really understand here is that what I love about virtual mailboxes is that you're not really paying that much, but you're getting lots of benefits. I mean, if you think about it, the ability to have sensitive mail items shredded, for instance, the ability to have a third party open and scan mail items, the ability to recycle unwanted mail or junk mail, for instance, that's kind of cool. Okay, the opportunity to actually provide an extra, I would say, a more professional, I would say, appearance, if you will. Like if you, let's say, you wanted to show that you actually live, that your business actually operates in a pretty cool area. Okay, for instance, Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're able to get, let's say, a virtual mailbox at that address, you are indirectly or directly telling customers that, hey, listen, you are really pay attention to your reputation, not just your customers, but also your different stakeholders. Okay, so something to really think about, and so that's what basically a virtual mailbox does for you. Now, if you think about virtual mailbox versus a USPS informed delivery, you got to ask yourself what your needs are. What your needs are, and so how do you know if you need a virtual mailbox this year? Because maybe you don't need it. Maybe you're fine just going with USPS delivery, okay, informed delivery. So you want to actually choose a virtual mailbox provider if you want to set up a business. Like I said, sometimes when you set up a business, you do not want to use your home address. No, for security reasons, for privacy reasons, for reputation reasons, it's just better to segregate your home address from your business address. And if you want let's say a prestigious address, sometimes it's just better to go through a virtual mailbox, because if you have to really rent in those places, you just be paying like crazy, like thousands of dollars in rent, for instance. Okay, so a virtual mailbox is a great fit for you if you're starting a small business, because a virtual mailbox is a right fit for you if you are self-employed, starting a home-based business, or actually a startup entrepreneur. Okay. And because the virtual mailbox comes with a real street address, you can use it as your business mailing address instead of a PO box. It will give you your business a more polished and legitimate reputation as opposed to an address that clearly states a PO box number, okay? So aside from giving you a trustworthy image, a virtual mailbox also comes with a number of benefits for your business. You can use it as a digital mail storage for your important documents. It's also a good and secure option for product returns as well. And a virtual mailbox is also one of the building blocks of a virtual office. So if you wish to establish one for your business, just sign up for a business phone number and you are all set. So this is really fantastic. So that's the first option. That's the first scenario for you to consider a virtual mailbox. Secondly, if you travel often, okay, if you don't have a permanent address and or are frequently on the go, dealing with postal mail filling up your mailbox at home can be a hassle. Sure, you can ask your neighbor or family members to pick up your mail, but that can be too much trouble sometimes, especially if you think about sensitive correspondence. Okay, because your friends or family members they have their lives too. But with a virtual mailbox, your mail and packages will be delivered to a safe and secure location. You will know right away when your mail arrives, and there will be a staff to sign for your packages, and you can then schedule to pick up the items when you get back or have them forwarded to another address. Another reason to actually look for a virtual mailbox, and I've actually alluded to a little earlier, is if you want security and privacy, okay? Because a virtual mailbox offers a layer of security and privacy to your home address, and you shouldn't use your personal address as a business mailing address because it puts your personal details in the hands of strangers. Anyone can show up at your doorstep and cause trouble. Okay, you just never know. Okay, even if you don't run a business, it's still a good idea to prevent strangers from accessing your home address. Additionally, it's also safer to receive mail at your virtual mailbox because only the operator or their staff will have access to it. So it's not out in the open and vulnerable to mail theft, like in your mailbox in the yard, actually. And lastly, you don't want to deal with spam mail too. Spam mail is a pain to deal with. So with a virtual mailbox, however, you will see the last of your spam mail. The virtual mailbox provider will simply discard, shred, or recycle them for you at your request. So that's kind of cool, okay? So you are actually a perfect candidate for a virtual mailbox if you identify with any of those four items. It's not just for busy professionals either, okay? Even kids who live away from home or college or young adults embarking on their careers in a new city can use a virtual mailbox to manage the postal mail they receive in their hometown. So it's all about convenience, actually. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about virtual mailbox versus USPS informed delivery. I explained what the difference is, what are the pros and cons of each, and how do you know if you are a good candidate for either service. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.